Installation instructions for the Duet Skylift with PowerView operation. Unwrap the shade components. The Skylift Duet motorised skylight shade cannot be installed as a side stack shade, operating from side to side within the window. Also, it cannot be installed as a top-down shade, where the fabric stack is at the bottom of the window. Clear a large clean space on the floor or on a covered table and position the components for assembly. Orient the top rail with the fabric coloured side facing up and the bottom rail with the manual control button facing up. Arrange the side rails with the R sticker on the right and the L sticker on the left. Orient the side rails so that the top corner brackets are at the top and the bottom corner brackets are at the bottom. Slide the moving rail end caps closer to the corner brackets. The right end cap spindle is white and the left end cap spindle is grey. If the shade is reveal mounted, the light gap seals should be inserted into the front channel of all four rails, if not already positioned. Make sure they are inserted in the correct orientation, the outside of the S facing the front of the shade. With reveal mount shades, if the angle of the installed shade will be 45 degrees or steeper, slide two spacer blocks into the rear channel on the underside of the bottom rail. The spacer blocks prevent the light gap seal from over-compressing and ensures even positioning of the shade in the reveal. Position the spacer blocks approximately a quarter of the shade width from each end of the bottom rail. The plastic blocks have tabs of 13, 10 and 6 millimeters. If necessary, break off the outer tabs to adjust the spacer block to the appropriate size so that the shade fits evenly in the reveal. Insert the top tension plates in place. Make sure the bottom rail and the bottom corner bracket with the R sticker are placed on the right side before beginning the assembly. Position the left side rail close to the top rail. Orient and insert the top left tension plate in the slot in the top corner on the left side rail. Tilt the screw head up to insert the top tension plate first, then insert the screw head in place. Place a strip of tape over the screw head to keep the screw in place. Repeat the above procedure on the right hand side. Attach the side rails to the top and bottom rails. Attach the left rail to the top rail by inserting the top left corner bracket into the top rail and the moving rail end cap into the moving rail, while keeping the fabric stacked. Make sure both prongs of the moving rail end cap are in the bottom channel of the moving rail. Be careful not to entangle the cable with any of the shade components. Attach the left side rail to the bottom rail by inserting the left corner bracket into the bottom rail. Align the left end of the shaft in the bottom rail with the drive gear shaft. Slide the levelling socket onto the shaft and tighten the locking collar using the provided Allen key. Then attach the right side to the top rail and then to the bottom rail by repeating the above process. To secure the side rails to the top rail, you will be supplied with two lengths of beaded cord marked top and bottom. Hook one end of the beaded chain between the third and fourth bead from the end of the slot in the top left corner bracket. Pull the bead chain taut and secure the other end of the bead chain in the slot in the right top corner. Make sure the bead chain is taut in order to hold the side rails together. Cut the excess bead chain, leaving 3 to 4 extra beads past the slot. Secure the side rails to the bottom rail. Hook one end of the bead chain between the third and fourth bead from the end in the slot in the bottom left corner bracket. Pull the bead chain taut and secure the other end of the bead chain in the slot in the bottom right corner. Make sure the bead chain is under the tension cable bracket and taut in order to hold the side rails together. Extend the tension cables as shown. Locate the bottom tension plate screws in the packaging and place the screw in the screw hole in the left bottom tension plate and tighten it to keep the tension plate in place. Repeat the above steps on the right hand side. If there are more than 2 tension cables, repeat the above steps for each tension plate. Install the bottom rail cover by centering the bottom rail cover over the bottom rail. Angle the cover into the back groove and then down. Press the front of the cover into the front groove. Make sure all the tension cables are in the centre of the holes in the cover rail. Move the tension cable brackets if necessary, ensuring the cover is centred on the bottom rail. Adjust the tension by removing the tape and tighten all the top tension screws in the top rail until the tension plates line up with the mark. Repeat the process on the other side. Connect the power source. Battery wand operation is available with shades over 787mm wide. Install the batteries into the battery wand. When power is connected to the motor, a green LED below the manual control button will flash to indicate that the shade is ready for operation. Mount the battery wands into the battery holder by removing the bottom rail cover and align the battery wands with the sockets towards the motor. Push the battery wand straight down into the battery wand holder in the bottom rail. Be sure the cable does not become pinched by the battery wand holder during installation. Test the shade prior to installing. Press the manual control button to lower, stop and raise the shade. Then follow the usual instructions to set up a PowerView remote. At this point, trim the light gap seals. Adjusting the shade. Raise the moving rail approximately 300mm above the bottom rail and check the level of the moving rail. Measure the distance from the bottom of the rail to the moving rail on the left and right sides, and if the distances are not equal, then the rail will need to be adjusted to level it. Adjust only one side of the moving rail. Remove the bottom rail cover, loosen the locking collar on one side and slide the levelling socket off the shaft. After the moving rail is level, slide the levelling socket onto the drive gear shaft and tighten the locking collar. Operate the shade to verify that the shade is now level. Repeat the above steps if necessary, then reinstall the bottom cover. To mount the installation brackets, start with the bottom right-hand corner of the skylight opening. Hold the provided Skylift inside mount bracket template with the arrow towards the glass. Line up the front edge of the jamb with the dotted line located at the 65mm 2.5 inch mark on the template. Mark the screw holes. Use the same side of the template for the top left corner of the skylight opening. Then flip the template and use the back side for the top right corner and the bottom left corners. After marking all 4 corners, drill the screw holes using a 3/32 drill bit. Attach the installation brackets using the screws provided. Mount the shade by slipping the upper portion of the shade into the window frame. Make sure the installation brackets fit into the notches on the plastic hooks. Slip a screwdriver behind the shade and push back the brackets to install the lower end of the shade. Additional holes are punched in the side rails 200mm from each corner. You may use these to attach the side rails to the window frame using extra screws provided. Additional screws can be added to secure larger shades. Drill additional holes on the screw indicator grooves in the side rails. Do not over-tighten any of the side rail attachment screws. Doing so will cause bowing and prevent the shade from operating correctly. Attach the corner covers by removing the adhesive backing from each corner cover. Press a cover onto each shade corner, extending them to the window frame to cover the light gap. The Skylift is recommended for reveal fit applications, but it can be installed on face. It is not recommended to be fitted on face due to aesthetic reasons, because the brackets are very noticeable on the outside of the side rails. If ordered on face, your order will include 4 installation brackets, 2 for each side. Attach the installation brackets to the outside of the shade through the pre-drilled holes on the side rails. You may need a second person to assist you with holding up a face-mounted Skylift in the correct position.